What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, The Walking Dead Dead City, episode number 6. I wish we could provide you with a reaction to the finale, but for the first time in the history of our channel, I actually accidentally forgot to back up the footage, and it's gone. All gone.
He deleted the file.
All of it.
We watched the stuff a couple days later. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought you already posted that. Mm-hmm. No, he deleted it.
This is only the second time in the history that we've lost a reaction. The first time was a corrupt file from the SD card. But this is actually on me, my fault. I'm a dum-dum. Somehow I thought I already uploaded the footage, but then we went to watch something else.
I don't know how this doesn't happen more.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of shocking.
Anytime that he goes to click format, I'm like, was there anything on there that you needed?
This time there was.
Oops.
Yeah, so instead of going back and like rewatching it and doing a reaction to something that we've already seen, we're just going to do a review. I have a full thing. We're going to talk about it, give you our reactions to what we saw, and even having a chance to let the episode digest a little bit, give a little more insight, I feel like, than right off of a first watch. So we're just going to go through it, kind of scene by scene, talk about it, and then give our overall thoughts at the end about the season, the finale.
A podcast.
Yeah, basically like a podcast. We're just going to talk about it. And, I mean, just jumping right into the episode, there's a lot going on, obviously. There's a lot of deception playing out. When episode 5 ended and it jumped into the finale, there was a situation where Maggie... Clearly, and this is something that's pretty interesting to talk about, clearly Maggie is being portrayed a certain way.
Yeah.
And she's being deceptive, she's lying, she's almost being given villain traits because she lied to the group that they met up with. They're all dead. She was lying to Ginny. She was withholding the dino and was going to burn it. I'm glad that she didn't. But she's been very sneaky, very sly about the way she's been doing things, and Ginny caught onto it because she, in a flashback, was able to go look at the grain because she lied about the grain, like, oh, the Croat was stealing all of our stuff.
Yeah,
they were
not true.
Bleeding us dry, and they were just going to wait for us to die, and she lied about that, and she wrote liar in blood up in the sewer, so... Yeah. Like that whole situation is just, it's sad and it's unfortunate, and we're gonna have something to talk about there in a minute. But the episode starts where Ginny had fired off the flare, and Negan sees it and he thought it was Maggie, so he went looking for them and finds out that Ginny's there, and he's like, what are you doing? He
was so upset.
He was very mad, and she went straight up to him, gave him a big hug, and was very happy to see him, and he was angry. Like, you could tell, like, because she was there, it put the mission in danger.
In jeopardy, absolutely. It's like, I can't go to work when you're not safe. Yeah. How am I supposed to work right now?
Right.
You don't know me, kid. I am not who you think I am.
I want you to...
No. I killed your dad.
He actually ends up revealing something after she started to speak to him, and he shut that down.
Like, now?
Yeah.
You're gonna talk to me now.
He shut that shit down, as you would say Negan does, and revealed that he killed her father as one of the reasons why the marshal was after him. He was part of the group that he killed and was giving Anne problems and doing what they were doing to her, and just told her that she was just a debt that he had to pay, which I think he was purposefully just trying to be mean to get her to leave.
Yeah, like, you can't be around me. I'm actually a terrible person.
Yeah. So that's obviously a really difficult thing because we know Negan with the kids, he's got a special place in his heart for them.
Word.
And it's definitely a difficult spot to watch him have to do that because it definitely didn't feel good. But it worked because the marshal said that he would take her across the river back to the mainland off the island. And they easily made the trip back, which...
No problem.
Amazing. They just took one of those floaty docks with no rails, no protection, no walls, no nothing. Just
right through
across the
Sea
Hudson.
of Walkers.
The Hudson of Walkers, yeah. Absolutely nuts. So that whole situation, it's sad and unfortunate, but from Negan's perspective, it's pretty clear why that played out.
Yeah.
And then we jump into a situation where Negan's kind of sus. Like, he's looking at Maggie. There's I know something's going on here.
They get to the top of a staircase, and it's like...
Negan asks.
Something's happening.
Right. And Negan straight up asks, what was she trying to say? You were with her, in the sewers. What happened there? And Maggie decides that she can tell that Negan is onto her and pulls out a knife and attacks him.
Yep.
And there's a ton of walkers around. They have this crazy knife fight.
They go on this tiny little support beam, whatever the hell. You wouldn't catch me. Hail to the no. Who's falling to their death amongst a bunch of walkers? But then they get to a platform.
Because it's Negan and Maggie, no one was dying.
Yeah. They get to a platform, WWE style cage match.
Yeah. Negan
stabs him.
And then he 300 style kicks her off the platform down to lower. And then he flies off like a friggin' superhero and has like his own superhero landing. They stop fighting. And it's just one of those just insane. Like, you knew it was building to that at some point.
There's so much tension at that point. Somebody's going to do something.
Yeah, I just thought it was the timing was really odd because they were so close to the trade-off. And I just didn't understand Maggie's intent to attack there. It just seemed very counterproductive in that moment. That's the time that she had all this other time to attack. And he was alone. She was alone with him, and it was like, why now? But
also, if you need to trade him for your son,
right? Why are you trying to kill him?
Don't you need your son first?
Mm-hmm.
That part I didn't understand.
Yeah. So that attack came at a weird time, and they stop fighting. Negan reveals, like, I know everything that's going on.
It doesn't matter what excuses I give you or how many apologies I offer. You can't get over it. And you shouldn't.
He acknowledges that she's never going to get over what went down, and she shouldn't.
And that basically he has a purpose in life for her. She has a purpose for him, and he understands that purpose. Right. And if we talked about this, if she would have just been upfront with that purpose, he would have totally...
Yeah.
He would have gone along with it. He did go along with it. He knew what he was getting into. I'm pretty sure he knew he was going to die.
Yeah, I totally agree with the idea that he would have helped Maggie if she was honest at the beginning. But she wasn't, and this is where we are. The Croat shows up. They make the trade. Negan for Herschel. Negan tells Herschel that it's good to see you, kid. There's a little bit of hesitation between Herschel and Maggie. Like, you could tell Herschel is not in a good place, obviously. And you kind of start to find out why.
It's more than just angsty teen.
Yeah,
you don't think that you can have an angsty teen in the apocalypse, but in this case...
Yeah, and you find out why.
Yes.
And later, with the whole situation and the conversations that go down. But we jump into the Marshal who's returning to New Babylon, and he's being interrogated. He lies about killing Negan. And the person that's interrogating him is kind of pressing him a little bit, and then wants to learn more about the methane. And it's like, oh... That's where we're going. Okay, gotcha. So that was clearly one of those situations where I feel like the Marshal probably gave a little bit too much information.
Right.
But that's definitely going to lead to something in the future without question because it's even referenced again at the end. So we'll talk about that more at the end.
Let's wait for the next bad thing to happen. If anything, I felt safer back there.
Probably one of the best parts of the episode happened next. Maggie and Herschel had a really powerful conversation.
In the car.
Car. And Herschel's talking about, we're just going to go home and we're just going to wait for the next bad thing to happen. He felt safer back where he was, which is like, holy shit, that felt like a really kind of one of those bombshell moments. And he's
like
just...
a slap in the face.
Yeah, you could tell he's upset. You could tell that he's uncomfortable even being back with Mom, which I thought was interesting. And he kind of just talks about how, like, my whole life I've been here and you've just been looking past me, over your shoulder, looking for Negan, waiting for him to return. Revenge was always clearly the focus of her mind. And I could understand why he would be so upset. He doesn't have a great relationship with his mom. We saw in one of the flashbacks that he was angry even then. And just the fact that Maggie has clearly been obsessed about Negan, which it'd be kind of hard not to be.
Yes.
Like, if Negan was still alive and out there knowing that, it would probably haunt my dreams too. And be one of those situations where you would always kind of be on edge about that, considering you never know what Negan would do or what his actions could be.
He was a bad dude for a long time.
Yeah, and what he did to Glenn and Abraham, I mean, obviously the impact on Maggie has to do with Glenn, but that is something that should never leave her, and she should never get over that situation. And it's one of those things where, again, we've talked about this so much at this point, the conversation that they had at the end of The Walking Dead, it feels like they got on the same page in terms of no forgiveness, no forgetting, but like being able to move on and stuff. So it's really telling that Herschel shared all of this. I thought the kid murdered that scene. I thought he was awesome in that spot. And that's one of the things that I'm actually really excited about. We'll talk about that more at the end. But I'm really excited to see more of this kid as Herschel, because I thought he did awesome in the moments that we got with him. And yeah, I thought that was a really powerful scene.
You breezed right up to the leader like an actor commanding the stage like a rock star.
And we get another kind of powerful scene with the Croat and Negan. They were in the back of an ambulance after the trade. And the Croat's going through all this stuff about how Negan operates and how he did things and how he let this dude take a swing with Lucille.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, he was talking about that, and he's like, you trusted me, I was brand new, and I had no idea what I was doing, basically what he said.
Yeah.
And first swing, he missed. Second one, he overcompensated, almost killed the guy. And Negan didn't get mad at him. He was patient with him. And they have this talk where the Croat's talking about how they felt untouchable because of how they did things.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was.
Having like a heart-to-heart, just spilling his guts, figuratively, not literally this time, about basically the love he has for Negan.
Negan! So yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like the Croat clearly showed his hands in this moment. He flipped his cards over and was like, I want you to be the leader again. This is what our plan is for you. I'm never going to go out of line ever again. I understand why you got mad at me back in the day, and it's never going to happen again. It's like, okay, you're buttering this dude up just so he could take your job.
Yeah.
And that's clearly where we're going. But hearing even Negan, I don't think he necessarily felt like in that moment that what happened back then was beautiful. But I think he was just playing along and just doing what he had to do to basically, I think, just stay alive and stay on their good side in that moment.
I was going to say to stay alive, yeah.
Yeah. So Maggie gives Ginny her dino back and has another chat with Herschel. Yeah. And Maggie talks about everything that she's been going through, everything that's been taken from her, and decides that she wants to finish this thing with Negan. And that felt like a clear, I'm going to go back and kill him because that's the only way she's going to be able to let it go. Right. Like, if Negan's still alive for any reason, then she's not going to be able to move forward. And I thought that was another one of those very telling, powerful moments where, like, you made the trade and it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
It didn't give Maggie what she wanted or what she needed in that spot.
No, because there's still the possibility because she didn't see him dead.
Right. You never know. Again, with Negan, as much I want to believe that he's fully 100% on this path of being good, you never know. He might, we'll talk about the offer that he's received, but you never know where this dude might go.
Yeah.
Because, again, you taste that power, you taste that control, and you never know. Maybe you want to go back to it.
Can't wait for you to meet her. Like mommy and daddy coming together.
We get the meeting between Doma and Negan, and Croat says it's like mommy and daddy coming together. It's like...
That's creepy, my dude.
Like, yikes, dude. Like, that's just kind of... not gonna lie, it's a little weird.
I still made the don't drink the lemonade joke.
Yeah. Darlene is Walking Dead canon, and she's a very dangerous person, and she plays that role very well.
She plays a very good
well.
villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I remember during the reaction just commenting like how great this actress is.
Yeah.
She plays it so well.
She's the best. And when it comes to that type of character, she's the best.
It's a delight to finally meet you, to find out that you are not, in fact, the product of someone's psychosis.
Things start getting laid out and explained about what's going down. And she is actually kind of, like, this was an interesting line. She was happy that Negan wasn't a product of someone's psychosis. Was she like, she probably thought the Croat's talking about this person who's not even a real thing.
You're making this shit up. He doesn't exist.
So she was happy about that. And hearing about the way he did stuff at the bank and the way he's handled business in the past, she likes the performance he puts on. Clearly she has a background in theater because this is all a show to her, it feels like. It's all an act. It's all just, again, reference, like first time we met her, I'm like, this is like the evil King Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Like, we have King Ezekiel, who's like the most positive, happy, awesome dude in the world. And then you have Doma, who's total opposite, psycho, crazy, evil person.
This is the worst, the greatest showman ever.
Exactly. Perfect. One of the things that she mentions to Negan that's definitely a callback to the earlier part of the episode is the fact that she wants to bring Negan in. They need someone strong to be a leader, because once they figure out that we have our natural resources, they're going to come get it. Which is like, obviously a callback to the New Babylon folks who found out about the methane and they're going to come get it. So she wants someone who's strong, who's got confidence, who's fearless, and charisma. That's all the things that Negan was. I mean, he still got that charisma.
He does.
And he could obviously still turn that switch back on. But she wants him to lead. She wants him to bring all the people on the island together, all of New York. It's going to be the new sanctuary. And yeah.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. She wants to unite everyone.
Awful.
And she wants Negan to be that leader, which she shooed Croat away when Negan showed up. And it feels like, I mean, obviously the Croat knows that Negan's going to be put ahead of him.
I know.
I don't think he liked being shooed away.
Yeah,
he thought he was going to be part of the group.
That kind of looked like, oh, I can't stay for the adult conversation.
Yeah. It's not the three of us, it's the two of us.
Yeah, the adults are going to talk right now, and you need to go to your room.
That definitely felt like that type of situation, which feels like it could lead to potential issues, which, I mean, 100%
Jealousy.
I think it's going to be, yeah.
My former guest and I had a lot of talks. His father's killer might feel remorseful.
She talks about Herschel and reveals to Negan, like, she had like a little gift for him, and he opened this box, and it was Herschel's pinky toe. And
wild.
Just so creepy and gross. And they're still having a conversation, and Dama talks about the time that she had with Herschel. And she was able to sense it. Herschel didn't say this. She was able to sense that Herschel felt Negan had remorse for killing Glenn. And the fact that he even told her that he felt safer there, huge deal, I feel like.
Yeah.
And during that story, we see Maggie going through some of Herschel's stuff, like going through his drawings. When she referenced Herschel being comfortable with her, safer with her, Maggie revealed a picture, like a nice picture of Doma smiling that Herschel drew, which means, okay, we've got a conflict here. Like, this is going to be a problem. And she basically is like, yeah, I have his toe. I could always go back for more. I made the trade, but he's always going to be available for me. And her and Negan have a lot to discuss and a lot to plan for. And the season ends with a split screen of Negan's face and Maggie's face.
It was a really cool shot.
I thought it was a super dope shot. And I think it was super telling that these two are going to come together. And obviously there's another season, because this is far from being over. And that led me to a little bit of a rant after the reaction when we watched it.
Yeah.
Because this goes back to something I always talk about in terms of setting expectations.
Yeah.
I love setting expectations. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to theorize about stuff and, like, oh, going into this movie, what do you think is going to happen? Like, oh, what's going into the final season of this show? What do you think is going to happen this season? And going into these spin-offs with The Walking Dead, because they didn't wrap up these major character stories in the show,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to get 3 spin-offs, and that's going to be the wrap of the story.
They'll each get 1 season, and it'll be done.
That's clearly not the case.
No.
Because
it's a whole other thing.
This was just the beginning of Dead City. There's a lot to still play out. And honestly, despite being a little frustrated that The Walking Dead continues to drag these stories out, this actually ended in a way where I'm really excited for the story to move forward.
Yeah, I do want to see, Darlene, Dama, like, how she proceeds.
Yeah, I think seeing the way Herschel and Maggie act, I feel like that relationship is interesting. I want to see more of Herschel, because I think this kid nailed all of this. He didn't have a lot of screen time in this first season, but he killed it. I thought he did so good. His deliveries were strong. They were powerful. And I feel like his story is going to be really emotional and very telling. And just the fact that Maggie now has to deal with this idea that, oh shit, like, my kid likes Dama and liked it there better because he felt safer. I haven't been able to protect my son the way that I'm supposed to. That feels like it's going to be a huge conflict. Personal within conflict, and then obviously conflict with these new folks. And just the idea that they did that split screen, I think Maggie went from, I need to go kill Negan to go rescue Negan.
Yeah.
I feel like that's now going to be the play, and they're going to have to figure out a way to kill these folks. I think that's where it's going. I think it's going to be a really interesting situation because, I mean, again, you never know what Negan's going to do.
No.
This proposition feels like a really big one.
Yeah.
It feels like something that, like, oh, I get to run all of New York. I never have to run again. I don't need to hide. I don't need to do all this other stuff that he's been doing over all these many years after.
But I don't know. I don't think he wants to do this.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's going to turn it. I think he's going to play along as long as he needs to.
Yeah.
I think he's going to flip that switch and probably do a lot of stuff.
And kill them.
I think he's going to play along for as long as he needs to.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I feel like it's going to end in their demise.
They're definitely going to die, for sure. But I loved everything about the dynamic of the overall story. I thought the first handful of episodes were banging. I thought they were awesome. I thought this first season was really good. I thought visually the show was awesome.
Yeah.
Like seeing New York like that, I thought it was really spectacular looking, like in the scariest way possible. It felt very much like I Am Legend, which was in New York also, which I thought did a really good job with the visuals in that movie as well. But yeah, overall, like it hit a certain point and I'm just like, oh, you started getting the kind of idea that this wasn't going to end in season 1. We didn't see any news. I didn't seek out any ideas.
I don't want to know.
I did see officially there is going to be a season 2.
Okay.
Once we watched it, I saw the report come out. Once the episode aired, they're like, season 2 coming. It's like, okay, cool. We got a season 2 coming. So,
I mean, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah. They got to. They left all of the stories open ended. Mm-hmm. Croat didn't die. Doma and Negan are meeting. We got Herschel back, but there's a conflict between him and Maggie. Even the New Babylon folks are going to present an issue at some point because they found out about the methane and being able to power things with it. And yeah, they definitely set the stage for a lot more story, without question. Yep. It's coming, and I think the way it ended was interesting. I thought it was good. And it definitely wasn't one of those endings where it's like, oh, that's bullshit. That's going to suck.
Yeah.
I feel like they left it open-ended to the point where it's actually exciting, fun, interesting content.
Yes.
Because, again, we started with Negan. This channel started there. Negan 7-1 came out, did his thing, horrible. And we're not going to not react to Negan content and not see how his story ends. Same with all the other shows, with the Daryl show, the Rick and Michonne show.
Absolutely.
Like, we're going to see all of these major characters' stories end, and we're going to do it with y'all, of course. I don't know if there's any question.
Deleted footage.
Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Maybe I'll learn my lesson.
What I just noticed is the only other episode that we fucked up was Black Sails.
I'm wearing the black
and
sails
I'm wearing
shirt.
a black... I swear to God, what would Vane do?
Yeah.
He would cut a bitch.
Yeah. If you didn't know, go watch that show. It's fantastic.
Black Sails.
But yeah, that one wasn't my fault. This one was my fault. I deleted the footage. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good first season. It's definitely very intriguing. And it sucks that this had to happen on a finale. But it is what it is. Nothing we could do about it. We weren't going to go back
just
and
gotta move
rewatch
forward.
it. Yeah, so you get our full review. And hopefully you enjoyed this. And hopefully we don't have to do it again. But yeah, you guys obviously share all your comments, everything that went down in the finale, everything that went down this season. What do you think is going to happen? Where is this leading to? What do you think is going down? Are you happy with what they did? Are you happy that there's a second season? Did you have similar thoughts as we did in terms of like, 6 episodes, story's done? Or were you expecting more because you follow the news and all that stuff? But yeah, leave all those comments. And you have anything else? No. All right, you guys, we'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.